We are Brightside Home Theater.
Hey, home theater fans, nerds.
One of those
Take
nights.
two. Yeah, isn't it though? I practiced it so well. Steve gave me the thumbs up. All right. Hey, home theater nerds. Welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast, a home theater podcast that's all about the experiences, not the opens, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
And we got some sights and sounds and scenes today, tonight, wherever you are in the world. I've been going over the notes. You guys haven't seen my notes. I forgot to put my stuff in there. But I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So it's even a surprise
I thought you were
to you
just
too.
you're just being the man of mystery, Deej. So
No,
yeah,
not
it's
on
our
purpose.
toes.
Believe me, not on purpose. Not on purpose. We got plenty of stuff to get to. Home theater experience wise, we've got some comments we really would like to get to. I can't make any promises though, because discussions could be crazy again this week, because we're going to hit it off with Evil Dead Rise again. Just kidding.
I was going to say,
You should
this
start
is a
every show
surprise
with
to me, but
that. We gather once more to discuss.
Yeah, exactly. To rise. Oh man!
let me get my gloves on. I'll
I
be ready.
know. Yeah,
Round two.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, are we going? Which ounce gloves are we going with? We going with the heavy,
Surely
the 9?
the,
or
Oh,
we
the
can
heavy ones, yeah.
30 ounce.
Oh,
30 ounce? Ooh.
30.
Okay.
Well, you
So
better get
how
the
many
first hit in.
rounds? Just
yeah.
2?
I don't even know if I can lift my arm.
Exactly.
Two
Just-
30-second rounds.
Yeah. That's what she said. No,
yeah.
Well,
Nice. That's my
were you
boy.
there? What's going on, John?
I was a fly on the wall.
I could have swore those curtains were twitching. I knew it.
Yep, there you go. Oh, so people in the chat already. We started and it was like 0. I was like, wait, what? I swear I saw people in there. But Paul Van Gool, Aberguy, hi all. Steven, yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for joining us. So far, anybody else I missed? Andrew, I think, Jordan.
Jordan's.
Yep.
Yeah, Jordan's.
Yep.
Zach.
Yep. Looking back there, Zach. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yeah, so we'll be going along. Any fun stuff happen this week, guys, that you want to get to now before we get into our home theater experiences?
Yep. Me. The world.
Steve in the front there. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's
there
it.
we go.
Yeah, two hands. Two hands. So I win. 2 hands.
2 hands. 2 hands.
Something interesting happened this week, fellas. The world finally caught up with the Brightside Home Theater Podcast.
That's my
something
boy.
we knew about in February.
Holy cow. So let's take a moment to gloat, shall we? Not really gloat, but and I don't mean I say that jokingly because I don't think we should gloat, but it's between the three of us, we have different connections in different places, and we get information that can sometimes cross-verify. And in this case, Steve happened to get some serious information back in February, and then it cross-referenced as the months went on with information that I was receiving. And what ends up happening is we put out some hints here and there, and we talked throughout the year about stuff that's going on, and maybe even had a, I don't know, Steve, a debate or two on Twitter about things that are going on, and people like, they're doing it, and I'm like, I don't think they are. And here it's like flooding the market, and some of the people that we've debated with on the social medias are like, finally they're catching on, and be like, And to be fair, Bill Hunt wasn't one of them. John Archer wasn't one of them. Bill Hunt came right out. He had same information we did, and he came right out, and he's like, finally, I could talk publicly. I saw his tweet, and I thought it was you, Steve. And I was like, oh, my God. And as a teaser to Takeover Tuesday guests. I did leak that information to a few Takeover Tuesday guests after we were done recording. I would, if they asked the appropriate information, I would give them the correct answer. Like I said, I'll always ask anything, so I'll answer anything. I'll ask anything too, right, John? Boy, was I disappointed. But anyways, so that the whole entire Prey coming out, that is, and then obviously you have Marvel, and you have. I thought there was a leak, like a month ago, when they were it was kind of a funny leak, but it was like, oh no, somebody in China is just making a knockoff of WandaVision, a steelbook. Those aren't real. And everybody was like, oh my God. And then Disney had to backtrack and say, we didn't authorize this. And then I remember I was mowing my lawn when I first heard about it. And I was like, what the hell? I had to stop and look it up. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. That's somebody in the plant or whatever is like, look at what we got. So it's all real.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, like I said, so we knew Prey was coming. That we knew for sure. And then obviously the other ones have come along as well. So, yeah, very, very cool. And, it'll be great for you guys over there to finally get your Atmos track on it rather than the Hulu sort of 5.1 or 7.1 DTS HD track, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, it's so cool. Disney seemed to have rediscovered physical media. Who knew? As long as you don't live in Australia, obviously.
Right.
Sorry, Adriano.
I think, Bob Iger's back. That it came shortly after that. We, the information. It's like, okay, we're going to regenerate and we're going to make a push. The three of us talked off air back then. Like, we debated just amongst us, like, was this purposeful? And I'll put it out there because it was kind of my thing. And I think you guys you didn't agree with me, but I'm like, did they roll out Disney Plus and say, we're going to put a hold on physical media just to get this rolling? Or is this reactionary to Disney? Disney Plus didn't do what it was supposed to do. And I can see it both ways, but I do think that there's a Disney, all of these companies, not just Disney, Warner Brothers, Sony, all of these companies, they look so far ahead with everything. Look at Apple. I mean, we've got the 14 now? They're probably already up to the 20 in their buildings, right? They look so far ahead. Is it possible that they said, we're going to slow down on the physical media just to give Disney Plus, give streaming the shot? And then once everybody's hooked and we know we've plateaued, which is pretty much what they did, we go back in gusto. And here's my thing. Disney is notorious for this. They've had the Disney Vault since the 60s, 70s, it came out on VHS and then boom, pulled it right back. They've been doing this forever. It's called create and demand, everybody. That's what they're doing. And that's what they did. And now we're all clamoring for it. And we're like, thank you, Disney. Finally, you caught on to us. And Disney might be sitting there. Maybe they're not. Maybe this is all reactionary. I doubt it. But maybe they're sitting there going, hey, you're welcome. We knew this was coming. It's what you do with a fish and a worm. It's like, here you go. Hey, whoop, whoop.
I have reason to believe, and it's very, very,
heard that
very
before.
Good. Yeah, well, yeah, quite.
Yeah.
And reason, and from someone who is well placed, very, 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 very well placed, that this is
Listen,
reactionary
people.
all day long. This is what way's the wind blowing this week? Quick, let's do this. And which you don't expect, as I say, from a company that size. But I have it on good authority that is exactly what they're doing.
Now
they are clamoring.
Yeah.
What do we do? What do we do? What do we do?
Right.
Because they're not alone. I think most of the companies that have got their own content plus streaming are now thinking streaming wasn't that good. Let's do something else. We need some money and we need it quickly. And also don't forget you've got the strikes are going on at the moment, so they need content and they're going to need it for next year. They're going to need some revenue generators, and I suspect every studio is going, how are we going to make money next year when we've got no new product? Mine the old back catalogue. We'll do some stuff in theaters. We'll re-release some older movies, and we'll push back cat physical media releases as well. Mm-hmm. But as I said, I suspect that's going on, but I know it's going on at Disney.
Yeah. And I was going to say, it's like there's a chance. At first blush, I would have said this is not reactionary to the strike. But at the same time, most of the experts talking about the strike, they've known about this for over a year. So the fact that we got this information 10 months ago or whatever, 8 months, whatever it is, it still could be reactionary and prepping for what's going on right now. So I don't know.
Was coming.
Right. But hey, this is bright side. And as I've always said, we are the winners. The competition by all of these people, we are the winners. And we're going to get everything that we've been hoping we would get, right? And we voted with our wallets. And it's like they saw the numbers go down as small as we are. And we always say we're a niche group. As small as we are, we're making a dent in their wallet in the positive. They know if they sell this stuff, we're going to buy it.
Yeah, well, quite. Paul in the chat just says, for a sudden inverted commas change of direction, these look really nicely produced, not a rush job at all. Extras, packaging. Well, I mean, if you call a year a rush job, Paul, I mean, they've known for when I got the information that I got in February, it was already well down the pipe, so it's rushed-ish. But the extras and stuff they had before its cinematic release, they'd already done EPKs and done all that stuff. The deleted scenes were already done. There's a podcast. I can't think of the guy's name. He's a writer podcast, and he did and he had the director on the podcast, and he was talking about deleted scenes before its release and was talking about them then. So this is it's a rush job as far as these things go. But it's not it's not a we only finished it last week type thing. It's been coming a little bit longer than that. But yeah, Deej, you're right. What we need to do then, don't we, as enthusiasts for this stuff, is we need to support it. You know, you've got to go out and buy it. It helps that it's a good movie. If it was crap, it'd be a different story. But, you know, it's a great movie.
You need to support it. And there's no more evidence. And I love Adriano and all our listeners down in Australia. I don't blame them. But the country as a whole didn't support it. And and that's frustrating for people like Adriano and stuff that like, hey, you know, the three of us, you know, we go out and we plunk our money down, we buy, we support, but we're only one person. We can only do so much. So it is frustrating when you're like, if you're an enthusiast like us and you happen to live in Australia and hey, the vote was taken and most people around you aren't supporting it. And Disney pulled out. And I don't blame them. I don't blame for enthusiasts for being frustrated, but I also don't blame the consumer that's like, I'm getting everything I want on Disney Plus. It's just, unfortunately, if you're living in a market that isn't supporting it, they're going to pull out, and because every dollar is that valuable right now. So, and it's like, I mean, you got to see it from both sides.
Yeah, well, it may well be. This could be the start of a very cool time for us again as enthusiasts, because the strike for us. I mean, don't want to minimize all the poor people that are on strike and that are struggling, because I'm sure it's a very scary time for a lot of people. Yeah. Traditionally, the movie industry, the vast majority of people are not making much of a living. But for those of us that are enthusiasts, knowing that these studios are going to be cash strapped for next year after, they are going to have to generate money. And generally the way you do that is, as they've discovered, is not via streaming, but to go, right, okay, let's get you back into the theaters, and we'll pump out a load of stuff. And Disney in particular have got a vault like no others, as you said, but they've got all the Fox titles as well. So, you know, there's so much stuff there that they can mine dirt cheap. It's not like it's going to cost
them a lot to pump
it out.
Yeah.
And a lot of these recent Blu-ray discs have been mastered in 4K anyway. So it's like, chuck it on a disc, give it an Atmos track. We'll chuck it through the filter and we'll have it out next week, and away it goes. You know, I'm sure there's someone probably
Steve's been sweating away at home.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just press send. So,
yeah.
So it's very cool. I mean, what about you, John? Are you going to pick this up day one, Prey and Loki and that, or are you going to kind of wait and see, or what's your plan?
No, I'm planning to. I don't know that I'll buy every show, honestly. Like, I'm for sure going to buy WandaVision. I'll buy Prey. I don't know if I'll get all the seasons of The Mandalorian or not.
At least the first two, I will.
But yeah, I mean, I'll support the product that I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that I'll necessarily rush out and buy everything, but yeah, for sure.
I mean, you think about Mando's season 2 final episode. That to
Yeah, but
me,
there's things like that I know will come in big box sets when the series wraps. You know what I mean? And you know, I would like to buy the Mandalorian, the complete series, or some some such thing like that. You know,
but for somebody
we'll
like
see.
me,
Yeah.
I'm like, that to me is like when I knew the Game of Thrones box set was coming out in 4K. I already own it with Atmos in the first 7 seasons.
Right.
And I knew the box set was coming, but I needed to see that episode 3, The Long Night.
Right.
And I was like, I had to run out and buy it. And it's just like Mando season 3, final, 8th episode or whatever. You gotta, I mean, that you gotta run home and just put that final scene in and experience that in physical media.
But I think you're also going to kaleidoscape it. So like a full series box set doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah, but I'll probably
you know?
something like that. Like I'll probably buy it too.
Yeah.
I own all the Star Wars stuff.
Well, you might as well.
Too.
It's Bloodshot. So
It's
gonna buy it 7
come on,
times.
it's better than Bloodshot, right?
Yeah.
I own Evil Dead Rise, for God's sakes.
Here we are again, round 3.
And Malignant, I
Out.
think. Right.
I listen.
Yeah,
you know what? Just to touch on that for a second, I listened to that back, John. Did you listen to it back?
No, I didn't.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, it's
I've
not.
gotten-
Well, it's
it's
not
not
that
bad
bad
at
for
all.
us.
No,
We've had way
That's-
worse.
Oh, Jesus!
I think it just
No,
took some other people by surprise.
The picnic table senior year in the rain.
Yeah.
I mean, we were much closer than. I mean,
For those listening, of course, they won't know. We talked for about an hour, didn't we, after the last show, till 1:30 in the morning here.
well, I should say
about
you
kind of-
talked for about an hour
well,
quizzing us.
I listened.
Yeah, well, I was fascinated.
I know you were.
Yeah. So it's about kind of how close you came and where that is. So even for someone who knows you guys quite well, both on and off air now, I was getting a little uncomfortable because I didn't quite
We were.
know.
As you know
but that's
after
'cause
the
you
fact.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
that was
it
fun.
was very funny.
Yeah. I didn't watch it back. I listened to it back just as I do to check audio levels and stuff.
Yeah.
But I listened to the whole thing back and I'm like, listening to it, I wish I should go back and watch Steve because it really wasn't. I can understand why people are like, we did get a bunch of comments on it, like saying it was super entertaining and this is what it's all about. And so that was great. So that, we can't manifest that just out of the blue. Otherwise we'd have like a #1 podcast, I guess.
Well, yeah. It's got to be organic.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Well, the good news is they're working on a sequel to Evil Dead Rise, so there's more to come.
Evil Dead rises again.
Yeah, maybe I should go see.
Rising.
How many are there before that? 3? Is that the 4th
Four,
one?
like 5. 4.
That was 5. Yeah, there's 4.
Yeah, that was
There's
5.
Evil
right?
Dead
So-
1,
Oh.
Evil Dead 2, Dead Before Dawn, Evil Dead 3, which is Army of Darkness, and then you've got Evil Dead 2013, and then Evil Dead Rise, which is this one. So yeah. But you could see 2013. You could see that one and see what you think of it. I
The
think you'd
movie
prefer it.
2013?
Yeah, the
Evil
Evil
Dead
Dead.
2013.
It's not called Evil Dead 2013, but that's the year it came out. It's just called Evil Dead. But you could watch that. You might get it.
I got enough content
we can go for
going
round
on.
2.
Yeah, you got to tease me with like.
Is there a
home
drone?
theater experience of the year? It's like,
yeah.
but
it is a good disc. It's not referenced, but it is a good disc. But Evil Dead Rise is reference all day long.
So, one more thing before we get to home theater experiences, I'm going to cover this because we did get a lot of questions about this stuff. The mugs and the hats, and what ended up. So, Mark was the first one this week. Mark V. He emailed me about the mugs, and while I was replying to him, I was looking it up and going through the costs and everything. I was ordering it up. And here it is. If you're watching on YouTube, this is what the mug looks like produced. And I'd have to do each one of these individually and ship it out to you. And then so it would be this plus shipping and then everything. And here's the price. It says it right here. It's $38 for the Rambler 30 ounce, $6 for custom front, then $6 for the back, and then it's $10. You get that charge anyways, and then so you're up to $50, something like that, whatever it was, and then shipping on top of that. So it came, I think, at the end.
Oh yeah, it should be $60, shouldn't it?
Yeah. So the $10 isn't on that yet,
Right,
Because
it's
when you
another
go
item.
to check out, you add the $10 on there, so it would be $60 plus shipping.
Yeah.
So I know that's very expensive, but I'm not going to make any money on it. This is what I'm just trying to let you guys know, because I have had a lot of comments and questions on it, and I like them. And if anybody sees that they run like the free, when they say it's free customization, I think they knocked the $10 off.
It just ended yesterday. Actually,
Oh, did they?
Free customization, and that
but see
included the extra $6 charges too. Because
okay.
I placed some orders yesterday for some
Okay.
gifts, not of these, but for some gifts for
I was
the
gonna say,
family.
hey,
And
Yeah.
yeah, it was basically just the mug price. Everything else was free.
Okay.
But that did end last night. It only ran for a couple days.
yeah, because I didn't see it. I didn't know about it.
But
So
they'll do it. I guess they do it because now that I ordered one, I ordered one like 4 days ago for my son for his birthday, and I had to pay all that extra stuff. And then of course I got an email that said, "Oh, enjoy free customization." And
Yeah.
so I ordered a few more things yesterday, and was a little irritated that I couldn't get that deal on my son.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. So if anybody sees that and you want to email me, they're doing a free customization, keep an eye on it, and then we can set it up and I'll do that. Because
I'll
when
I'll let you know.
yeah,
'Cause I'll be
John, if
getting
you're
them now.
watching it,
Yeah.
and I'll
And,
put it
John,
out on Twitter.
Mine's 13th of November, John. 13th of
No,
November,
okay,
mate.
November
Just-
13th.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Okay.
November 13th, all right? Just every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah.
Not the
So-
14th.
No,
Nope,
don't
not
let
the
the gravestone
14th.
fool you. Don't let the gravestone fool you.
Exactly. But yeah, so I mean, if you want to keep an eye on that, let me know, and then I'll be happy to bang them out that way. That seems to be about the only way. And like I said, I just looked this up last week for Mark, and I grabbed these screenshots, and they've been sitting there waiting. And then in the middle time, they did have the sale, and I didn't know about it. So I don't have time to keep looking and checking on it. But if listeners want to look and check, if you want one and you want to save the money, then let me know, and I'll make them up and ship it out to you. So
Just be warned, people. They are, if you're like me, not many are, but if you are like me, not if you like me, if you are like me, they are so good though, you don't really want to use them. I've just
I've
got
been
water.
using
I
the
won't
crap
put
out of
anything other
mine.
than, I will only
Yeah.
put water in it. It's too good to put anything other than that in. I'm worried if I put tea in there, it'll stain it, and then I won't want water.
Yeah.
And oh man, they're just too cool.
yeah,
Just on display most of the time.
They also have, if you're interested and you want the smaller one, they have a smaller one, but it only saves you like $3.
Yeah.
So it's like your money's worth with the bigger one, because for $3 more, you get the smaller one. I think is 20 ounce. This is 30 ounce, and for the 20 ounce one, you usually sip through it in about 10 minutes. But it's like when I drive my car, when I'm in my truck at work, I take this one. But when I'm in my car, which has a smaller cup holder, same opening, but I just don't want this big bulky thing sitting on that center console, I take the smaller one with me. So, but they do. I mean, I don't have to pump up Yeti. They're awesome cups, but it's,
They're very cool. Just for those not perhaps watching, Carl says in the chat, Yeti gives something like 20% off.
yeah.
for the military.
And unfortunately,
Then
I'm not
you would have to-
military.
you'd have to do it yourself to do that.
I
And-
was just saying, you
and
have to
that-
join up just to get 20% off. It's kind of extreme, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's compensates the pay, but then I got that one weekend a month, and John knows the story.
Yeah.
Just 'cause
I'm not a fan of saying I'm that in the military. I'm not going to tell people I'm in the military just so that I can get somebody else 20% off.
Deej,
Yeah.
just because you put a flight suit on for Jen that time does not mean
Yeah.
you're in the military.
Halloween.
Just so we're clear. Halloween.
What about the
Yeah.
aviators? Does that count?
Well, in that case, I've been in there as well, and I'll have 20% off too.
Yeah. And then the hats, I don't happen to have an image of the hats, but the hats, I've got 10 more coming in, and those will be, I'm paying 30. There you go. We got, there we go.
Does that fit? There you go. That'll do.
And I'm modeling it backwards. So there you go. I got 10 more of those coming in, and those will be 35 in shipping. So just let me know. The hats are really cool. I love my hat. So comfortable. So they're that crushed, the curved kind. They're not like big boxy hats. So, all right. Enough of the,
Yeah,
I say enough, but I am getting enough comments on it that I need to talk about it. But go ahead, Steve. What?
Just to go back just a little bit, John Thompson in the chat. Hi, John. Just stepping back to about the Australia physical media thing. Yeah, so Australia's home physical media value was $90 million. I assume that means US dollars, not Australian dollars. Last year, with Disney having 25% of that, so less than 20 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Which is chump change to
22
Disney,
and a half.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you think of all the costs and everything else that they've got to absorb from that, I suppose they're clearly market leaders with 20% of it, but
Yeah.
it's not to them. It's not a lot, is it?
No. No.
I wouldn't think.
But-
But there we go. I mean, I'll have it. Don't get me wrong. If they want to give it
yeah,
to me,
so
I won't
I-
complain. But
I'd take 1% of that.
Right.
Take a percent of that. That'd be nice. That'd probably pay for my house.
probably just Bob Iger's bonus.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. We ready to get to real HT experiences?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, boys. What do we want first? I know what I want first.
Well, then do
Your
it.
sound is still going, buddy.
I know.
Oh, there, it's gone.
I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was just trying to be helpful.
All right, John. Let's go.
What is this?
Straight
Oh,
in. Straight in.
Left an
This
impression.
is the Brightside Home Theatre podcast, John.
Yeah.
What we
Yep.
do is
yeah. All right. So this was Gravity on Blu-ray disc, Dolby Atmos. So for those that weren't lucky enough to get the Diamond Lux edition when it was released, I'm not telling most people anything they don't know, but it has become prohibitively expensive.
What's it up to?
upward-
Like $275? Something?
$250 to $300 for this
Wow.
disc. And I do not have it and was not going to pay that price for it. One of the only good things to ever come out of Facebook was that I was alerted to the fact that Spain has a Blu-ray release that does include Dolby Atmos, and you could purchase it on Amazon Spain. And so I tried this about 3.5, 4 weeks ago, and they sent me the wrong version of it. And when I inquired about the correct version, they said they didn't have any more in stock, and that was that. So I was like bummed, but I was like, okay, they let me keep the other version for free and gave me a refund. But then I kept seeing people posting that they were getting this version in the mail. And so I went back to Amazon and I tried to order it again. And sure enough, I received it, the correct version the other day. So I have linked it on Twitter to a couple of different people. So for those that are interested, it is way less than $300. I think the disc price itself is about €17. And, with the conversion fees and the shipping to the US, I paid under $30 for it. So I was pretty happy to get that. And then I got another copy for free. So all in all, I did.
so.
Okay.
If anyone wants a copy of Gravity,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough setup. I had seen this movie before, but never in Dolby Atmos. I think I watched it on HBO or something. Yeah, wow. I was super impressed with the Dolby Atmos track on this.
So it lives up to its billing of
Yeah, I say
best Atmos track.
it's been hyped up a lot. Obviously, a lot of people have talked about it. Visually, I can't imagine a 4K disc looking a whole lot better. I thought this thing looked really, really good. And like I said, I was super impressed with the Atmos track. I'm not going to go as far as saying it's the best Atmos track I've ever heard. I don't know,
not now
what that would be in my mind, but
Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah, Evil Dead Rise. But that being said, this thing is.
I thought my headphones are broke.
I would almost say worth the $300.
Isn't it? It is good.
If you didn't have the option of getting this, which now you do. So, yeah, I know, Steve, you watched it as well this week, but I'm assuming you had seen it before. In Atmos, yeah. So,
do you have the Diamond Lux, Steve?
Yeah, I've had the Atmos version of this for 2 years, maybe a little bit longer, maybe there
when it came out.
Yeah. So I had the 3D Blu-ray, which again, I'm so over 3D, but I had the 3D Blu-ray, which was very nice at the time. And then I rebought the which had the Blu-ray, and then I've also then bought the as soon as I got my cinema room, I'm like, right, I need the Atmos version. It's fantastic. I think a 4K disc probably could do there's a little bit of polishing they could do. I noticed some noise. Yeah, there's a little bit of noise here and there. What I don't know, it's very, very minor and only fleeting, but I did see a little bit of it. But then I don't know whether that's motion blur because of the effect, and it could be, but there's just very slight noise in a couple of shots, literal just shots. But it's not a big deal. But I can only imagine how HDR could really make this even more three-dimensional than it already looks. And then we get the best of both worlds. You get 4K quality and detail levels with the 3D of HDR. So I would very happily get a 4K disc. But yeah, I'm happy with what we've got. The Atmos track, I rewatched it this week because you'd mentioned it, John. I thought now's my chance to revisit it. And I watched it at my reference level on Sunday afternoon when I had a bit of time. And it was, it's great. And funnily enough, it's great for the reasons you talked about last week with Evil Dead Rise. Right. If there's a drinking game going on, someone's going to be very drunk at the end of
exactly.
Because it's a track that is bombastic when it needs to be,
right?
But this is about as subtle and is atmospheric. Bad pun, but as it can be. I mean, there is the scene at the beginning of this. You've got four different characters. Four different characters, and their voices are moving independently around the room without any fanfare. No messing about. There's no clever
Who's
stuff.
the fourth
going
one? Isn't it like Ed Harris, Clooney, Bullock,
and then the Indian chap who's the specialist.
Oh yeah.
The other chap. And they're all, and well, you can add a fifth because you've also got the music. So so you've got the lyrics. So that's going around. They're all moving independently of each other, and you can sit with your eyes shut. And you could, and if someone said, right, point where that's coming from, and you can follow it around the room, and it's so subtle, it's great, and it is purely, I reckon, for people like us.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's just for us to go.
But yeah, you're right. The best Atmos effects in this movie are just talking. It's not the explosions, and I mean, like you said, there is that, and there is plenty of that.
Yeah.
But. It's the subtlety of it that makes it so good,
Yeah, even down to the scene where it's not a spoiler because it's just a visual thing or an audio thing, where the camera goes to close up on Sandra Bullock and then goes inside her helmet. You listen to how the audio changes as it goes inside and then comes outside again. It's just so clever. And of course, you get thunderous bass at times. I mean, I don't know about you. I get anxious when I'm watching this. You can actually feel your heart beating when you can hear the constant boom, 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 boom of the heartbeat that she's got. But it's very cleverly done. And so this is there's no question it's a reference audio and video more or less. It's very, very, very good. Did you watch it this week, Deej? Did you get a chance to rewatch it as well, or have just seen it?
No, I've seen it so many times. We've talked about it as whenever we've done something on the show for best reference Atmos track, and this one always comes up. And I've always said that it's the simplicity of it that makes it the best reference track, and will continue to, because there's movies like when I did Pacific Rim, it's so confusing. There's so much going on, and in every single scene it's just an onslaught of sound, right? And it's fantastic. But in this, you really get to experience how good Atmos can be, because, or I should say object-based can be, because they can utilize, it's pulling those voices. And when you do a voice match around the room, that's the trick, right? And that's what we're all trying to achieve with our speakers. That's what we're trying to achieve when we're calibrating our rooms, where, you want to have that voice match, and to literally have a voice match as a human voice go around the room. That's what this is about. And I think that's what makes the purists like us, yes, the purists like us, appreciate this for what it is. And you know what I mean? Like, there are so many like more entertaining, bombastic movies that you're like, oh my, like even going to Maverick but think of like Maverick, and he goes into, the 215 scene, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. And what did we do? We listened for those. Did you hear the wind on the left side of the room as it went over the wing? And it's like the little tiny things while you're hearing, right? And we're always looking for those little details. Well, Gravity, it's all little details, right? And it just makes it, and you're like, oh. And you get to experience it in every single scene, and you're just like, and when there's dead silence, you're like, oh, I can hear my projector. It's like,
hear my heart beating.
I can hear my heart beat. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I'm like, is that mine or hers?
Yeah,
exactly. It's awesome.
It is very, very good. Just to quickly, Abba guy, I mean, it's been answered in the chat. He says, are Blu-rays region free or only 4K? I mean, it's been answered by Jordan in the chat as well. The thing with this one, Abba guy, is that this is a Warner's movie, and these were all of their Blu-rays were region free right from the start. So you can get this from Spain if you're, you think it's Canadian or American, but
it's
you
Canadian.
as John found, you can get them from Europe. If they're Warner's or Universal or Paramount, exactly as Jordan says, they are region free, so you can get this and not have to worry about it. And because it's European, it'll have English language track as well as all the others, so you don't need to worry about anything like that. There'll be no burnt-in subtitles or anything. It's very, very cool. And then, I mean, it's quite ironic, really, because this was directed by a Spaniard. So it's all good, John. So it seems about right.
There you go. John, did you get a chance to take in the silent?
Not yet, but I
Oh.
definitely am going to, because I'm curious to see what it's like.
Yeah.
I was surprised to find that on the disc. Most people that hadn't mentioned that it was included.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty cool when I opened it up to see that was there too. So
I haven't been as impressed with the disc. I'd say it's that and Logan, in the black and white version of Logan.
yeah,
Those are the two that you're like, ooh. Like Logan, that's the only way I'll watch it now. I absolutely love that. After, I watched it in color, then I went to black and white, watched a bunch of the extras, but watching it in black and white, you're just like, it's incredible. When you watch, after you're done with, I can't wait to see what you think, but it's like, it's very close on like, maybe this is the way it should be watched. Because it's just that good and that engaging. Have you watched that, Steve?
No, I haven't. I saw it on the disc. I haven't. It's just time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I know.
We're very lucky that we get these alternate versions. Like Frank Darabont's The Mist has got the color in the black and white version. The black and white version's better. Funny enough, that's coming out in 4K next couple of months. And also, of course, Fury Road has the black and chrome edition, which is and so that's black and white. Although I haven't watched that either. I love the color in that. I know that George Miller says that the black and white one's what he had in mind when he did it, but I have to say I like the color in that. I think that the desert colors, the blue sky,
and which one is this? Sorry,
this is Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, Fury Road. See, that one
the black
I didn't.
and chrome edition. Yeah,
the black and chrome. That one.
Yeah,
I liked it, but not like I liked Logan. Logan to me, I was just like, I actually think that. Well, I thought he said it, and that's the way it was meant to be seen. and then they put out the color. And when you see the contrast, especially with the in 4K, and you see that contrast and everything, how it's shot, you're just like, oh, it just really sucked me in really good. Loved it. Steven Att says, not seeing the 4K version now on the Amazon Spain.
It's not 4K. It's just the Blu-ray. If you go to my Twitter post, I've linked it twice. Once to Mike Schramm, I believe, and the other two Aber guy. I'll be happy.
Who's in the chat? So
yeah.
Sorry, John.
Oh, I say I'd be happy to give the link to Steven if he can't find it after the show. But
So John again in the chat says, anyone who worked on the film, as it was a 3-year project, had a sign in the frame store saying "Gravity gets you down." Very nice. Which reminds me of the joke in Futurama where is it Captain Zach Brannigan is crashing and he shouts, "You win again, Gravity."
Yeah. Great. All right. All right. So I can't wait to hear what John thinks of the alternate. But all right. Is that good on that one? Are we good?
Yeah.
So good.
All right. Let's try. Let's see. This one here, I can't wait to talk about for numerous reasons. Go ahead.
So this is Tombstone. You can't just say Tombstone. You've got to say the modern day masterpiece that is Tombstone. That's how you it shouldn't be said any other way. Unfortunately, it's only the Blu-ray. Although for reasons we'll talk about, I'm not sure the 4K could look a lot better, to be honest. This is one of those discs we talked about a couple of weeks ago where we were just saying, well, actually, do you need 4K on some of these? Because I watched this. Now, this is the second time I've seen it on Blu-ray. The first time it must be that I've seen it in the cinema room because I was absolutely blown away by the video. I have some issues with the audio, which we'll talk about in a minute, but the video on this was excellent. I mean, the movie is fantastic. Now, anyone that likes Western has heard of the word Western. That'll be enough. See this film if you haven't, and hopefully everybody in this chat has seen it about 100 times. Because if you haven't, you need to sort that out. Good man.
I did.
Yeah, well, so
and I beg to differ.
Okay.
Maybe I'll explain on the next movie we're going to talk about, but there's a rhyme to reason why I did this one here. I too watched it, and I think this is begging for 4K with HDR. Begging for it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I just so in terms of what I like the video in this, I thought that there are a number of shots. The stories of this film are legion. Okay, George P. Cosmatos is the director of record, but apparently it was Kurt Russell that directed this, and George P. Cosmatos was kind of the figurehead. That's what I have been told. But as I say, there are lots of stories about this movie. But there are a number of times in this and a number of shots in this where you get close-ups. And those close-ups on the disc, I mean, I can't speak to the Kaleidoscope version, there you go, are ludicrously detailed. I mean, I snapped some shots on Twitter, so if you go onto my Twitter feed, you'll see those as well, where every crag and every mark and pockmark on Sam Elliott's face and the sheer beautifulness of his moustache, and everybody else in it just looked fantastic. And there are some sunshine, sunlit scenes and sun up, sundown that look really, really good. I thought, as video-wise, it looked absolutely, there we go, it looked absolutely fantastic. And I would not be sure how much an HDR version, or certainly in 4K, how much extra detail it would pull out. I thought it looked absolutely fantastic, and was very, very pleased with it. The audio I have some issues with. This is a weird thing because this is in 5.1 DTS HD MA, or at least the disc is. DJ, I don't know if yours is different. And
same thing.
For large portions of this film, the rears were almost silent, including in the bar scenes and stuff when there's a lot of people in the bar. And I genuinely thought at one point either I've selected a stereo track by mistake and I checked it, or there's something wrong with my rears. as it were. Don't jump in there, John. Okay.
I was waiting.
So now, whenever I say rear, now I'm always like, wait a minute. So I actually got up at one point, went to the back of the room and stuck my ear against one of the rear speakers to just check that they were working, because they were just silent for when you'd expect there to be voices and movement and all the rest of it. But then when you get to the OK Corral and you get to the, the whole kind of end thing where there are horses, hovering around the room, suddenly the rears came alive, and it was actually then, it's just a bit of a dated mix. And because when the horses do come through, you get nice bass rumbles, and you do get, they do move front to back, and there is some, some surround, but nothing like I was sort of hoping for. And again, sorry to use the word again, anyone doing the drinking game, I think we're spoilt by Evil Dead Rise and things like that with the atmospherics and constant noise. Well, John and I think so anyway.
Yeah.
Right. Constant noise.
I've listened to it back. I agreed with you guys. I don't know why you keep saying John and I. I agreed with you on the audio all the way through, and I kept telling you that. I just don't like the
again,
movie.
Anyway,
Jesus. Just kidding.
Evil Dead was rising throughout this.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were constantly rising.
right now, and
So
more than
I'm
my
getting a
blood
rise.
pressure.
Yeah, exactly that. So I was disappointed a bit with the audio. On the whole, it was okay, but I thought the video was really good. Deej. Anyway, so tell me then. I'll allow you to retort.
okay. Yeah, video has a lot of room for improvement because the black levels, the detail is really nice, okay? And I'll have more by comparison with my next movie when we get to that. And that's what ended up happening is this, like you said, this is a dated movie. The audio is definitely dated, but it is still fun. I have some stamps here. I had a blast with this movie. I've seen it so many times. I haven't seen it probably maybe I've had it on Kaleidoscape for a long time waiting to watch it. And I was like, I just was like, every time a line came up, I was like, oh, I'd say the line before. And it's like, that at the end, it's like, when he said, he's like, hey, what are you doing this for? Talking to Doc Holliday. And he goes, because he's my friend. And he's like, I got a lot of friends. He goes, and I out loud, I'm like, I don't. And I was like, that was awesome. But yeah, and by the end of this movie, I think the reason it's called Tombstone is because it's not a Wyatt Earp story. It's the Doc Holliday story. And and then because that's the entire story. I think it's awesome. It's one of my favorite movies, and you forget that when you haven't seen it. But it's like it's just got line after line after line, and Kurt Russell is amazing. He is. It's funny when you read about Wyatt Earp and stuff after the fact, like the years that followed this and everything, and it's watching this movie. He is like and at that time, he's like a modern day celebrity. Everywhere he goes, and he has to dismiss everybody, which is hysterical, right? And it's just he's like, get away from me. No, he kept saying no. But the opening of this, how it opens up in that little tiny black and white screen, and this is where it's like, yeah, this is where whether it's Blu-ray, I think the 4K would be even more amazing. But they open up with that tiny black and white screen, and then they go to that great transition of full screen. You get great bass at the opening, and it is a wow moment, right? And you're just like, your screen looks amazing, and that's what can be impressive. But then as the movie settles down, I was noticing just the grain, it just didn't seem as clean as it is going to be. And I think the way things are going, and this came out, I looked it up, this came out 30 years ago on Christmas Day. So I would be shocked if we aren't getting the 4K remastered for Christmas. And I mean, I would be shocked if that isn't what's coming. But as far as the audio, I didn't think it had the punch that modern tracks have, right? The gunshots, they were great. This is a fun ride. I recommend anybody, if you have the disc, watch it. If you don't have it, grab it. It's probably, I think it's like $14. take it in, enjoy it, because I think when we get the 4K, this is that good of a movie that, like I said last year, every opportunity you can see Maverick before the 4K drops, enjoy it. And then when the 4K comes out, you'll be able to really see the difference and hear the difference, because this has room to improve in both of them, but it's still a blast to watch, both as a home theater experience and as a movie itself. And I mean, as the home theater experience, it's at 2920. They're shooting in the theater, and the gunshots are going around, and it is all around you. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was good. At 42 minutes, the music, when they run out the horses, we'll run it out of them. Remember that scene? The music just starts exploding, but then it does move into the room, and it kind of, and a lot of the score does this. It comes off the front stage and stays kind of in the middle and around you. I don't know if you experienced that. Maybe it didn't. Yeah. I don't know if it went to the back, but I felt like it was cool, like how it moved off the front stage. So like if there was dialogue, you could hear it. The line. I love this one. You must have got a chuckle out of this, Steve. He'll be less apt to get nervy if he's on the street howitzer.
Yeah. Yes.
I was like, I wrote that one down. I'm like, the street howitzer. It's a great
it's just
line.
A throwaway line as well. Yeah, it's just
isn't
throwaway.
It? Yeah. I mean, we all know the one for each is line, I mean, but that one was great. At 1:22, 1 hour, 22 minutes, thunder and lightning, the sound, really nice, really crisp. The scene, I think it looked great, but that's one of those scenes that I think that lightning is going to be enhanced. The darkness and the blue of the sky is going to be enhanced with HDR. You're going to get a better contrast. You're going to get brighter brights and darker darks, but the great hue in the middle, and a lot going. I mean, the sound was really good too, but if we can get an up mix of, a modern day mix of that, at 1 hour, 26 minutes and 20 seconds, it's probably the best gunshot of the movie. And it's, when Paxton gets shot, and it's
through the window.
Yeah, that's probably the best gunshot of the movie. It's not, I can't say it's fantastic, because it's missing that bottom end, right, Steve? Like it was loud. I mean, the gunshots in this movie are loud, they're powerful, but there's no extra bottom end punch that you get in other modern tracks.
Yeah. They're of their time, and I suppose also we are talking six guns. We're not talking. In real life, they just pop like a cap. Like a firecracker.
In my experience, I've found them to be louder. In real life,
I fired a six gun, and it was just pop, 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 pop. It's not your. Well, I fired an Israeli 44 Magnum shortly thereafter, and that was like the world had ended, and there was a 3-foot gout of flame that came out as I was firing. Yeah. But they whereas
it depends on the caliber too. Yeah.
Yeah. Quite. Yeah. Well, I like to think I'm high caliber. But
you are.
But yeah, so I think it's of its time. I think it's dated. They didn't have that punch then, whereas we do, and we kind of expect it now, don't we? But yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. 4K disc is out tomorrow. I'm buying it. But but I was so pleased with how it looked. Just a bit disappointed with how it sounded, and I really hope that they will, that they'll give us a new object-based mix. That'd be great.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wait till we go. Just Van Gool said that it's on Amazon. Blu-ray is on Amazon for $5.99.
$5.99. That's a steal. Grab it.
Yeah. That, just go for it. And unlike lots of titles, I think this is the only release that there's been. I don't think there's, so it's not like you're only looking at lots of different special editions and different versions. So get that one. It'll be the same as the one we saw.
The director's cut seems to only be on the DVD release, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but it's such a good thing anyway. You just got to get it. And John, obviously Mike Schramm says his favorite Western, Not Even Close. It's
Yeah.
very, very good. It's not quite my favorite, not quite, but I really, really like it.
Yeah.
And then John just mentions, because we were talking about how good it looks. So, sorry, John, eyebrows there. There we go. So John Thompson says the film was shot by Bill Fraker. Careful how I say that. Who was a true master. He was also a producer, which is why it looks so good. So yeah, I mean, it absolutely, and as he clarifies, the producer on the film. So as I say, the stories about this movie are legion. If you go onto IMDb and look at the trivia thing, it goes forever. What is good to know though is that lots of the dialogue, because I always figured this was about as realistic for history as, it's just about any kind of Hollywood movie. But actually, lots of it were taken from the OK Corral papers, the Tombstone papers at the time. The Doc Holliday's line about, he said, "I've got you now, Holiday," and he says, "You're a daisy if you do." That's an actual line. He said it. It's recorded in the papers at the time, and things like that. So there was genuinely a lot of effort been made to give it some historical kind of resonance. So yeah, it's very, very cool. And this should be at the top of anyone's list if you haven't seen it.
Oh yeah. The image I'm showing right now when they're walking with that fire behind them, the tree, it looks beautiful, but I know that we could get like deeper, more detail in their jackets and stuff coming at you, and the fire itself is going to be brighter. This image here, I can't wait to compare. This is an early in the movie. It's the reflection, them looking at themselves in the window, and I think that's going to really pop. I think when we get a 4K version of that, we have this one here. I love the shot of this in the movie because this here, it's like you see him, so it's like against the blue background, and then his face is like opposite colors, so he pops off the screen. But then you do that, and I talked about it, they did it in Lord of the Rings a bunch of times, and they go boom, and it's like that just pops in your room, because you just had a predominantly blue and you go predominantly orange, which are opposite, and you're just like, what? It just messes with you on every level. But look at how it lights your room up too. It's like the sunset is in your room. Can you imagine that in HDR? It's
almost blinding. It'd be great.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Feel the heat.
Yeah. And then this is, just as the end credits, and they kept that this is when they showed them walking, it was just not historical pictures, but but yeah, so much fun. Much fun.
We need to have a word with Paul Hurt. Sorry, John, eyebrows again. Right, we need a word with Paul Hurt. Wait, I know, I'm assuming he means Tombstone. Wait, I have seen it. Need to see it again. It didn't really stick for some reason. Probably saw it on TV when visiting my folks. Right, well, there you go, Paul. Sort yourself out, mate. Come on, what's going on?
Oh, so
you're letting the British end down, mate. Yeah, goodness me.
So
it's great.
Wow.
So next week, what's next week's Western? I know we've got one for John coming up in a minute. I think I'm gonna do Bone Tomahawk, but that's not just a Western.
Funny enough, they just announced a U.S. Steelbook that's coming out in a couple of months.
Oh, okay. Not a 4K one, though?
No, I believe it is.
Bone Tomahawk.
4K. I think so. I saw something about it. It just struck me because I had been looking for it earlier in the week, and wasn't able to find anything.
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact.
John, oh dear, we might be going again here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it, but
we've got to be careful with spoilers, Deej.
Well,
go on.
Yeah,
then.
I already kind of know, right?
I loved it. I'm giving boxes of popcorn in this. I loved it.
Wow,
loved it. You want to talk gore? That's how you do gore, my friends.
Oh yeah.
You get into it. It makes you go, ugh. And when they're digging around and doing stuff, and the sound in I watched both. I watched this one first, and then because of Kurt Russell, I'm like, all right, I gotta do Tombstone. And then I saw Steven is doing Tombstone. I'm like, well, that lines up perfect. So, but I had already watched this, and I went right into Tombstone, and that's why I say if you go and watch this is a more modern movie, done in. It's only 1080p. I watched it 1080p DTS, 5.1. The gunshots in this one, fantastic bass. And it's in the opening scene and the title scene, right? The title page, you're like, boom, you're like, holy crap. If you didn't know better watching this movie, I would say, like, if I just had you come in and I'd be like, guess what codec and what resolution, and you'd have a hard time. And it is that good. This one here, I would say I'd leave it alone. This is one that, and I thought that before I watched Tombstone. Then watching Tombstone and literally hours apart watching these two and being like, oh, okay. Imagine if I had the detail that I had in Bone Tomahawk that I have here, if I got that on Tombstone. And I think that's the only reason. Otherwise, I probably would have dead on agreed with you, Steve, because Tombstone is just that dramatic. It is that good that you're just like, wow, that's just amazing. And it's like, in the way it's shot, the way they cut from one scene to another, just like the example I gave of like Kurt Russell and then they're riding from the sunset or whatever, or sunrise, whatever. But seeing the difference here, it's the opening of Bone Tomahawk, fantastic bass, the picture, the way that the sepia tones, is that right? Like inside, it looked like it was shot as a Western, and it's slow. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to lie to you. I loved every minute of it though, because it's setting you up for everything that's going on. And by the end of the movie, you're like, oh my God, what did I do? What happened? It's like, what did I just sit through? That was brutal. It is absolutely brutal, but it was like 43 minutes. It's not a spoiler at all, but this is so much fun. Doesn't really say much about the story. The horse's hooves, the different bass sounds. So they take off, a bunch of guys on horses, they take off, they're on, I said earth, they're on ground, but then they go across a wooden bridge and then back onto the ground, and listen to how they pan, and two, the different bass notes of the horses. And then when they hit the wood, obviously it's going to sound different, but there's a feel to it too, that obviously we didn't get it at all in Tombstone. There's a different feel there, the deep muffled bass that you get by like horses on earth, and then the crisp bang on wood. It's just, that one was really cool. And 3 boxes of popcorn, haven't done this in a while, 3 boxes of popcorn at 1 hour and 8 minutes even. Patrick Wilson hobbles across the screen from right to left. It is the slowest pan in cinematic history, but it is fantastic because you're just like watching him go. And like I said, this is a slow movie, but he has to get from one side of the screen to the other. And it's like, he's outside and he's just, you get this nice big view, and here he comes and you hear it. Right, Steve? It's so slow.
Yeah.
When was the last time you saw this?
Last year it would have been. I mean, I've seen it 4 or 5 times at least, if not more, because I mean, this is, again, it mixes 2 genres that I happen to really like.
Yeah.
And obviously, the second half is all me. So yeah, no, this is a fantastic movie. Again, I think again there might be some discussion to be had about whether this is for everybody. Because I can imagine some people going in thinking, "Oh, great, it's a Western. It's going to be just like Tombstone." No. There is the genre of the film changes. Again, the example I gave a couple of weeks ago was like From Dusk Till Dawn.
But it's not. It's see, that was misleading to me. And I actually I love Dusk Till Dawn, and I would have loved if it did the Dusk Till Dawn thing, but it doesn't. It's actually it's more well grounded. It's, you could see this. It's that, you know what I mean? Like Dusk Till Dawn takes on a supernatural effect.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's not what I mean quite so literally.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. I was like, I'm like,
no, sorry, no.
Right,
what I mean by, you've got 2 genres of films that are one's over here, and they've gone, right, let's put those two together and see what happens. And I don't want
Right.
to say what the other one is. I said it a couple of weeks ago. Anyone that's seen it will know. But they're
DJ's
two
got it right
very-
on the screen. So,
Well, that's the description of the movie.
Yeah,
well, I
that's
know,
right.
but I'm just saying it's right on the
yeah,
screen.
no, fair enough. So you
Yeah,
have got
it's-
two totally different genres, and the movie shifts gears completely from one to another. And I
Yeah.
suspect there are some. If you go into this thinking this is Tombstone, you're going to have a rude awakening when they get to the cave, because it then goes full on cannibal horror. And
Yeah.
and so some people I think we ought to give that
Right.
warning at least, because some people will be like, what the hell did you just told me to watch? You need to be aware that this film takes a turn.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's a
and
proper job, and they don't shy away from it either.
but I think as that type of a horror, it nails it. It's very gory. It's very, like, as they say, grisly. It's gross. It hits everything, audio, video wise. It hits it all. But as a Western, it nails it as well.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
very
everything,
cleverly
the
done.
gunshots, the opening scene, everything. It's like very tense throughout the movie. Very, very well done. Really, really enjoyed it. So
Yeah, it's an awesome film.
what's up?
I just wanted to clarify real quick. It is not getting a 4K release. It is
Okay.
getting a Blu-ray Steelbook release on October 24th. So for those that don't know, this went out of print in the US, I guess, because I looked for it last week and I wasn't able to find it.
Okay.
But then within a day, so it must be it's the Bright Side impact
It's-
on the world.
yeah.
Within a
Yep.
day, I saw the announcement for this, Blu-ray release. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's coming in October. So, for those that are looking for it here, you won't be able to find it. It is on Amazon Prime
To rent,
for like
yeah.
$2.99 or something. But now I'm not sure if I want to wait for the Blu-ray or just watch it on Amazon.
I think knowing you, John, you're going to love this. You
Yeah.
are, because
Yeah.
you like westerns and you like horror and you like the kind of that sort of stuff. So I think you're a dead cert. You're going to love this whenever you see it. So I think you can skip the rental. But I think others that
I get
aren't
the
so
better
sure
quality.
ought to perhaps rent it first and see. The other thing I would quickly say, this was directed by a guy called S. Craig Zahler. And two other movies he's done, which are very, very good, are Dragged Across Concrete and Brawl in Cell Block 99. Dragged Across Concrete's only available on Blu-ray. I've got that. But Brawl in Cell Block 99 is on 4K. Strangely, not in HDR. 4K disc, not HDR. Very strange. But both are very good genre movies and well worth picking up. So if you like Bone Tomahawk, I would recommend both of those as well, because they are really good. He's a decent director, this chap. He is good. So yeah, recommend those.
Yeah. Really good. Really good. Really enjoyed it. So, all right. Let's see. Who wants to go next? Let me see.
John,
what we
you've
got
not
here.
had one. Oh, no, you said.
Yeah, he did. He
I
opened
had
up
to,
yeah, of
Gravity.
course. Yeah. We can skip The Last of Us, Deej. We don't need to worry about that, mate, because I've only seen one more episode. We'll do
Okay.
more of that. So don't worry about that for now. We'll do that next week when I've watched a couple more.
All right. Do you want to?
Keep the Western theme going.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Oh, I'm getting a warning on John's picture here, but okay. Let's go
All right.
with Pale Rider.
Yeah, so this is Pale Rider on Blu-ray. Apologize for the photo, but this was another movie that had no intro screen. It just went right into the film. so I put this in
Landscape. Landscape.
Yeah. A lot of what you guys said about Tombstone applies here as well. This is a movie that could do with some updating. For the Blu-ray disc and for what it is up mixed into Neural X, it was fine and very enjoyable. But I think this, there was some parts of the picture quality that could definitely do with some HDR and some 4K upgrades. Same thing with the audio. It's a Western, so there's lots of horses, there's lots of hooves, there's lots of gunshots. But kind of like what you said with Tombstone, DJ, they don't have the punch that you get with an object-based mix. This is a fantastic movie. I'm assuming we've all seen it. This is one of my favorite Clint Eastwood westerns. And I really had a great time. I hadn't seen it in quite a while. But but I did see a lot of room, I think, for a potential improvements with 4K. So I'm not going to go on too much more about it because we kind of talked it through with Tombstone. This is a dated movie that definitely could do with some updating. But if you haven't seen the movie itself, it's well worth the watch. I've owned this Blu-ray for a long time, so I don't know. I can't imagine it's more than $8 to $10 on Amazon at this point. It's been out for a long time. But if you haven't seen it, this movie is fantastic and well worth the watch. So,
yeah, it's these older movies. Oh, here we go. What's this?
So BJM just says in the chat, no love for Dolby Surround upmixing.
Of course I do.
I'm assuming.
We upmix it all the time. Yeah.
That doesn't.
Default,
upmixing doesn't add extension to your bass. It doesn't add things like it doesn't add frequencies, I should say. All upmixing is going to do is going to utilize all the speakers that you have available, and it's only going to play the track in that way. So it's like, and honestly, I've been doing a lot of 2-channel stuff recently, just messing around with AirPod Pros and stuff, and you can do, 2 channels, and I've said it millions of times on this, not millions, thousands of times on this podcast. You can do 2 channels perfectly and have a scene from Maverick have the jet go all the way around and behind you and over your head with just 2 channels, if it's mixed properly. Right? All these extra channels do is allow everybody in the room to experience the exact same thing, and it opens the sweet spot. That's all it does. So my TV's about to shut off, my monitor. But anyways, so upmixing is only going to utilize the channels that you have for the mix that it was given. So if that mix isn't going to pull that sound around the room in 2-channel, it's not going to do it when you upmix it either. If that mix doesn't go below 80 hertz, it's not going to do it when you upmix it either. So upmixing is only so good. And a lot of the modern tracks that we talk about, we love it. We upmix everything, and you'd be hard pressed to say whether it was a direct object bass or if it was an upmixed Dolby, surround or a DTS master audio. So, Travis, we just watched the assassination of Jesse James. Ooh, you're a witness? By the coward Robert Ford recently on Kaleidoscape. Must be Western Week. Yep.
That's a movie I haven't seen.
I've seen it once. I've got it on Blu-ray and really enjoyed it. But it's a movie that requires investment in time and concentration. Yeah, you've got to you can't. It's not Tombstone. It's certainly not Bone Tomahawk. It's it's a character study. It's a really, really interesting movie, but you've got to focus. And so I think that's why I haven't gone back to it yet. But it's very, very good. Yeah, but
Travis in the chat
and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Travis in the chat from today's Takeover Tuesday. Hey, Travis, thanks for Takeover Tuesday. Had a blast, as we said. So much fun. Did you guys get to hear that one? Yeah.
I haven't yet. I've not had a chance yet. It's been a mad day. So BJM says, I mean upmix with Dolby Surround instead of DTS Neural X. Well, on my receiver just upmixes whatever's on there. Yeah, if it's Dolby, if it's True HD, it'll upmix to Dolby Surround. If it's DTS, it'll upmix to Neural X. I think we've talked before briefly about people choosing one over the other, but I don't see the point in that.
No.
If it's upmixing, it's upmixing. The codecs are virtually identical, I think, and it's just let the receiver take the strain, I would say.
DTS Neural X will run your. If people have compared it, I've never really worried about it, but supposedly DTS Neural X will run your overheads a little hotter, so that you'll experience the overheads a little more. So if you upmix a Dolby mix with DTS, supposedly it runs the overheads hotter. I just let Dolby do Dolby and DTS, do DTS. So that's
me too.
I try not to run anything extra hot, and I want it the way it's supposed to be. So, but yes, getting back to Pale Rider and Westerns and all that. What I was going to say is these older movies, they're still like, I think we said this I know we did last week. It's like, this is the best you've ever seen them. And to say like we said about Tombstone and Pale Rider, it doesn't have the bass extension. It doesn't have the everything that we want out of a modern movie. But that's not to say that it isn't still fantastic, because it's far better than that mono that channel you got at the bottom left corner of your television or whatever.
Oh, and it was better than my
dial knob.
VHS, which is probably the last time I watched this movie. So
yeah, it's. I mean, we hope for more, and we're spoiled by what we're getting, and it's movies like this that allow you to know and appreciate what we have now. And hopefully someday if it comes out in 4K, we'll be like, yay, we'll get that too. So, anything else on this?
No,
that's it. No, but we've still got plenty of other Westerns to come in the days and weeks ahead.
Oh boy. Yeah, I know. We go on these tangents and it's like, because I had one, I'd already taken the pictures, started to watch it, and then I got away from it. It wasn't even a Western. I'm hoping to get to it for next week. I just wanted to see how it looked, but I won't talk about that. But all right, Steve, your choice here. What would you like, buddy?
Take your pick. Go on, dealer's choice, Deed. You grab it. I'll talk about it. That's not what she said.
Oh, of course you'll talk about it. All right, let's get to. There we go.
Yeah, might as well, because
let's
this
finish
is the week
off
the
last
next
week.
one comes out. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the Equalizer 2. And by the way, in 4K Dolby Atmos. The reason I had to get that picture is the menu screen of the 4K disc is just white with Denzel Washington's face in the middle. And so with the HDR, you take a photo of it and it just looks ridiculous. So I thought, well, that's no good. You're not going to be able to see that. It looks like you're at a concert trying to take a photo of the stage lights,
Yeah, but
so I had to get
I'll
that.
have to walk you through. There's settings you can do with your iPhone to get that.
Oh yeah, oh man.
You can adjust the aperture with your phone.
That's too much like hard work.
Yeah.
I know.
So so just like, quick, do a landscape search for Equalizer 2 posters. Just send that.
Jesus.
So hence why we've got this. So this is the second, obviously, Equalizer movie. We did the first one last week. And this one is not as good a movie as the first one, is what I would say first. It's still really good. It's entertaining, but it's not as good. It goes in a strange direction. And I don't think, unlike the first one, which is a very lean and mean story, this one kind of goes off in different areas and never quite figures out which way it wants to go. And so I think that and it does weaken the movie. And from what I can see of the third one, it looks like they've gone back to the straight story again. So I think they realized they might have gone off a bit here, but it's still very good. And well worth picking up. The video it's a Sony disc, so video and audio are top notch. Looks amazing. There are lots of shots in here. The whole film is set over what must be about a week, and there is a big storm coming. Anyone in California will know what I mean. And there is a big storm kind of coming and rolling in as the movie progresses. And so you get to see these lovely establishing shots of, beaches and waves starting to build and all this kind of stuff. And it looks really, really good. And so there's no issues whatsoever with the video. And the audio is not a million miles away from reference. It's very, very nice indeed. Lots of envelopment. All the way through the film, because this storm is coming. You've got thunder and you've got lightning, moving around, and all that moves around the soundstage very nicely. And the ending is set during a massive storm, very Shakespearean. So it's set in a giant storm where there are gunshots going off and there's debris being whipped around and all this, and it sounds amazing. So it's very, very good. Just not as good as the first one. But if you're thinking of getting the 4K disc, if you don't own it, get it. It'll be dirt cheap now. I think I'm pretty sure there's a 2-in-1 set, so you can get them both. And I recommend them because they're Sony discs and they're always good, and they're solid movies. We talked about Denzel last time. I'm not sure he's ever made a knowingly bad movie, and this is really good. So yeah, well worth it, and pick it up, I would say.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice.
That's it. Nice and quick.
There we go. All right. I will hit on this one.
Don't hit on them. Don't hit on them, D. Just totally different.
This is my excursion to the theater to take in Barbie. Have you seen this yet, John?
No, I haven't, but
Steve?
I am looking forward to seeing it. But
Oh my God.
Yeah,
more
I'll
than
see it at
likely
home.
home. Yeah, more than likely at home. At this
Yeah, I'm
point.
not going to cinema to see it.
Oh, it's so good. It really is. It really is. It just, we ended up hanging out in the parking lot afterwards, talking about it in true Briggs fashion, because, Meg's got to get in her car. My wife and I are driving home, and we're just sitting there, we're chatting away about it. And it's so good. I think this is going to be so much fun as a home theater movie too, because it's these pictures, I snapped these pictures just as the movie was starting up. And when you see these at home, the extreme like contrast and colors, the pastels and the HDR on this is going to be amazing. The sound on this is going to be amazing. It is going to be a lot of fun. And I had so much fun with it, cracking up through it. I wasn't even bothered by the guy sitting in the back that sounded like he ate too many cookies, John. He was like overly laughing at everything. They're like this scene here, like Margot Robbie comes up on the screen and he's like with her name under it, and he's like, and you're like,
I don't know. Cookies don't do that to me, but
nobody does this normally. It's like, I don't know if he was there to try. And it's like, and there was some laugh out loud stuff, but you know how usually in a movie, if they put a laugh out loud, there'll be an audio track to drown out a lot of the laughter. So you can laugh comfortably. This guy was laughing at the most inappropriate times. And it's like, cause I laughed out loud, like you can't help it, but it was loud in the room. The movie was loud. And I was like, there was some good one-liners. There's some, it's a great conversation. You watch this movie and people's perspective on it is fantastic. It's hysterical to watch people argue. It's great. It's so good.
I am looking forward to seeing it. Wild Horses won't drag me to the cinema to see it, but if people are there doing things like that, I'm even less inclined to go.
Yeah.
But I do want to see it. I am looking forward to it. But yeah, that's why Cinema George is better. Because then if anyone's laughing like that, it's me, and I don't eat cookies. So
right.
Yeah.
So
Same here.
I'm genuinely curious to see it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But DJ, after you went to see it, then has it made you go and buy the toys? Just checking, not going to pick up.
I was hoping to have it here, but I got the T-shirt. I already got the shirt. Yep.
Not Barbenheimer like John Thompson's one.
No, the exact one. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I said it. I told him mine's on the way, and it was supposed to be here before today, and it's the exact same one. It's what the hell was the name of it? It's whatever it said, but yeah, the same one John got. Yep.
I don't think you should rest, Deej, until I can see behind you in your cinema room Barbie's Dream Castle and the pink Corvette next to the Terminator arm. It's got
John. Your sister, I'm sure, had this stuff growing up, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and it's my sister had it, and it's like we were like watching the stuff. It's amazing how they nailed it, and even some stuff that's not Barbie. That I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's some other stuff in there that I was talking with my mom about because she's seen it, and it's like that. It's just they nailed it on historically they nailed it, and and then when you realize some of the stuff that they did, you're like, oh my God, it's like what they were doing, the stereotypes that they were trying to hit on and they were trying to do, and it's just like, oh my God, it's just hysterical. And you're like, this is another one of those, it's so great that this came out the same weekend as Oppenheimer. And I think the two movies, you couldn't have two more vastly different movies, but yet exactly the same on subject matter and how they nail just culture and what has gone on, what's going on, and what will always go on. It's great. Really, really good. So Let's
again,
see.
eyebrows again.
What's this?
So Travis just says in the chat,
Yeah.
thinking about hitting our little 33-seater for Barbie, still cheaper than what Warner is charging to pre-order. That's what
I know.
Kaleidoscape, isn't it?
Yeah,
Famously
yeah.
charging a lot.
Yeah, but not It's not Kaleidoscape. Trust me, it's not
Well, he
up
says
to.
Warner. He
Yeah,
says
he does,
Warner,
he does.
not
Yeah,
No,
Warner.
I know, but then,
in fairness, yeah.
but Steve said Kaleidoscape, and I'm like, I want to stop that because you see that on social media that like people are like, oh, why is Kaleidoscape charging so much? They're not, and it's like, you know what's funny is for Disney offers very little price break when you do the disc to digital, right? So you get like $2 to $4 off a movie on Disney. Some movies you get all you pay is $4 when you do the disc to digital on other formats. But Disney across the board, $24.99. If it's like, but they also don't do pre-order on anything. It's just you get it the day it's available, and you're like, woo. Actually, they did do pre-order, didn't they? Just recently, I bought one pre-order. But anyways, $24.99. And I was going through a lot of the movies, $24.99, $29.99, $20. But this one here, I'm not pre-ordering at $39.99. And it's the same for not Spider-Man. I pre-ordered that and I bought it. I forget. There's a few others up right now, and they're $39.99. And believe me, it's not up to Kaleidoscape. It's the studios set these prices, and for some reason they're. And I'll just wait. I'll wait until it comes out, and it'll probably be $39.99 for a little while, and then it'll drop. But
Yeah, I mean, again, Travis, in fairness, does say to Warner's charging to pre-order. That's what I meant. I misread it, Deej. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not having a pop at Kaleidoscape. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not setting this. This is just the way it is. Yeah,
Right, which is funny because the 4K disc pre-order is $29.96.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
odd that it's that much higher.
It's $24.99 here. It's the same price as their normal new releases here on Amazon. And I mean, I can't imagine Warner's are going to go above that. But obviously, it's £50, so yeah.
Yeah. I probably like Batman, the Batman. I paid the $39.99. You know, there's some movies I've bought for the $39.99, but
Because they might run out on release day.
correct.
Yeah, you wanna be at
You
the
got to
front
make
of the
sure
queue.
you get
Well,
that pre-order in.
I'll tell you what's nice is when you don't pre-order it, I don't know if you get the email or like when I pre-order a movie, I usually get it before they even announce it on Kaleidoscape that it's been out. And it's like, I'll be like, I'll get my email saying or an update on my phone saying, oh, you're getting this movie tonight. And I'm like, oh my God. And nothing has been released by anybody. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So that's a fun part of having the pre-order, but I'm not paying $39.99 to run back and see Barbie again. I'll wait until it drops a little bit, as much as I loved it. But yeah. So, all righty. Let's see who's up next. John. Here we go. Let's hit on this one.
All right. So this is The Pope's Exorcist, which dropped this week on Netflix. Funny enough, I had no idea this had even come to Netflix. My wife pulled it up. I somehow saw it on her phone. She said, hey, let's watch this movie, which blew me away because my wife does not enjoy these type of movies. But it does star Russell Crowe, who she does enjoy. So I think that had something to do with it. But yeah, this was on Netflix, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I heard mixed reviews on this. I talked about another possession movie a couple of weeks ago, and I can't even remember the name of it because it didn't stick with me. Because I felt like it was exactly the same as every other movie that has to do with possession and exorcism. This movie, I thought, had a bit of a different spin on it, which I actually really enjoyed. Of course, there was possession and there was an exorcist. It's right there in the title. But the way it's played out, I felt like it had a different, like I said, I felt like it had a different spin than your normal exorcist type movie. As far as the quality of the stream, this was really, really nice. Like I said, it is Netflix, so they're known to have some pretty good quality when it comes to their streaming content. I was able to enjoy it in Dolby Vision with the projector, and I thought it looked very, very nice. and I thought the Dolby Atmos mix was excellent. While I did like this quite a bit, I'm not sure that this is a 4K disc purchase for me. I'm not sure that I'll buy it unless it drops to like, $10 at some point, and I'll probably pick it up just to see what it's like. But give this, if you like this type of movie, I'd give it a go. Like I said, I did hear some mixed reviews when this was in theaters. Some people really enjoyed it. Some people thought that it kind of broke down in the second half. I didn't find that. I thought it was pretty entertaining all the way through. So like I said, check it out if you're into this kind of thing. And like I said, the home theater experience was pretty decent. So
Cool.
yeah.
It's not available on Netflix here. I've just been looking because I didn't think much, that I'd want to see this. I think it's Russell Crowe on a little moped sort of put me off.
He's on a Vespa. Well, he is
kind of.
He's the Pope's exorcist. It is Italian. It is Italian. He does spend some time in Rome, so he does ride his Vespa.
So I didn't, but I've just looked it up on Netflix and it's not showing on Netflix here yet, which is disappointing.
It should be somewhere though. Maybe it's is it on like
I've
Max
looked
or
on Amazon.
something?
It's not on there either. So
that's odd.
Oh, well,
yeah,
I'll keep an eye out for it. Okay.
As far as I know, it just came to Netflix this week. So
does he try a comedy Mario Italian accent in it? That's what I want to know.
Oh,
Is it?
geez.
It's Sami,
That
the
really
proper
went-
exorcist.
That bothered
No.
you, didn't it?
no, now he does speak in Italian in the movie. But I didn't think his accent was bad. It's
Okay,
definitely
all right,
not.
good.
It's definitely not overpronounced or comical.
Okay, all right. He
But
doesn't
he
begin
does.
with Sami.
But he does speak multiple language. He speaks Italian, speaks
Okay.
Spanish, speaks Latin throughout the movie. And I thought he did a pretty good job. It's definitely not like his appearance in Thor.
Zeus.
Yeah, it's way better than his Greek accent or whatever that was he was trying to pull off in Thor.
Goodness me.
So
Yes, he does have some issues with accents. I mean, in Robin Hood, the Ridley Scott Robin Hood, his accent is all over the shop. It's quite hard.
He
to
did
pin it out.
he did sound a bit like an American speaking Italian, but it wasn't. It wasn't offensive. Not that I mean, I'm Italian by descent, but I don't speak Italian. I'm not from Italy. But I didn't find it offensive. Like he was trying to do a comical.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Rendition of it. So
Russell Crowe is Zeus. We don't need any more of that. Thank you very much.
Oof.
Anyway,
All right. Oh, all right. Is that it on that one? We got a couple of comments
Yeah,
on
'cause we're
that.
good.
No 4K. Who said that? VJ saying no 4K.
I don't think it's
on
come
that?
yet. Yeah,
Nope, nothing on that.
I'm sure it'll hit eventually. Like Megan, who came 6 months after the Blu-ray, is now getting a 4K release.
Pope's Exorcist is $9.99 on Kaleidoscope.
Oh, that's nice.
According to VJ.
For a
Yep.
it's a pretty new movie. So
Yeah.
um,
Getting back to the last one, Eric Ridgely says, I grabbed the Flash from Kaleidoscope and it was a bit pricey. I think $34.99 if I remember properly.
about
And I'm like,
$30 more than that movie's worth. But
I thought you liked the Flash.
it was
We did.
fine. It was
Yeah,
fine.
come on.
But
home theatre experience of the year, I believe. I'm sure
that's
I've
what I
heard
heard.
someone say that.
One of
Sure
our
I've heard
hosts
that.
said that. Yeah.
And I stand by it. If you listen to what I said, I'm like, it has awesome picture. It's full 16:9 the entire way through. Sorry, Travis. It's got great audio, it's a great home theater experience.
Just trying to incite a
Absolutely.
little,
Yeah.
a little
Intention, because you did deny it the following week, Deej. You said
I didn't deny it. I said no, because what I said was it wasn't the
memory,
movie
Steve.
of the home theater movie of the year. That I denied because I didn't say that, did I? You said, you were accusing me of home theater movie of the year because that's what I was talking about.
I think I have the check. Let me go back to the
Yeah.
record.
Yep.
Yeah.
And no,
Carry
I said
on.
it right in the clip that he sent to us. The clip says it's a home theater experience. It's up for home theater experience of the year. But what I was talking about when you called me on it was home theater movie of the year. And I said, no, it's not even close to that. So,
Oh, okay.
see, that's
Semantics.
And I
Semantics, Mr. Briggs.
It is semantics. It is semantics. And when I was talking about The Flash, I literally said that, and it's in the clip you said. I go, it's not home theater movie of the year. I go, but home theater experience of the year, it could be up for. But it won't win it. But it's really, really good.
Well, because
I'm looking forward to seeing it at home.
category.
What's
Yeah,
that?
you think-
That's not actually a category for it to win.
Oh, John,
Home
are
theater
you telling me
experience of
the
the year.
categories on my podcast?
Oh, I don't know what we're talking about. I guess you can make that up, right?
Yes, that's the quote of the year right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. No, because
I don't know what we're talking about.
Right. No, because when I've wrapped it up at the end of the year, I've had
Okay.
Ralph on and then Jeff from HD Report, and we all hit on different things. And I'm usually talking like the home theater experience, and they'll be talking about like the movie of the year, or but now that I have
I was
you
thinking
guys,
something where there'd be statues, and industry people involved.
well, yeah, but they're even at the statues and industry people, they don't do a home theater movie of the year.
That's what hence why I said that.
Right.
I think
And I'm like-
we all know. We've already had that Evil Dead Rise. We can
Right.
now move on. It's
Yeah.
fine. Home theater movie,
Oh, and
experience,
Speaking of which,
everything.
did we say that on the podcast? I'm like, we were laughing because it's like people like, maybe if John says, not just Mark either, maybe if John says something, it'll convince DJ, be like, you know, my opinions aren't up for vote, right? Like, if everybody in the world told you yellow's their favorite color, does that change your opinion? Like all of a sudden you're like, well, I got to change my favorite color now. It's like, no. So, no, it's like the old Seinfeld, like the movie of, when we do our wrap up at the end of the year, and we'll see, where everything lands.
Evil
I'm
Dead
gonna
Rise.
pop this
number
on
one.
the screen just so I can answer it. Eric
Okay.
asks about the Dolby Vision Beta and if this is on the AWOL projector, because I guess he just purchased one, and yes,
Don't
it
forget
is.
your NDA.
Yeah. So I did sign an NDA to not talk a whole lot about it, but I can say that it is going on right now, and it is for the AWOL. I don't know if you can still try to participate in this or not. But I would imagine that the official OTA release is not far off, because it is very, very nice and seems to be going well. So just wanted to answer that.
There you go. Hey, John, did you just pull that and put that up all by yourself?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I did, look-
Holy cow. Steve, can you back
Look at
on
me
this?
go,
Isn't this the first one time?
Yeah.
John-
Well, it's 'cause I'm
He's
usually-
rocking.
He's
I'm
gonna want a
usually
pay
in full
raise.
screen. I'm usually not looking at these at all because I'm in full screen.
Right.
But I just
That's
popped
funny.
out of it for a second. So
That's great.
yeah, I know how to do things. I just really don't want to. So I mean,
That's what she said.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this show back on track. Oh boy, where did I go wrong? All right.
When you asked me to join the show with you,
I know.
that's where you.
No. Hey, believe me, this is far better than me sitting here each week going, "Hey, home theater fans, it's just me." Oh man. All right, Steve.
I've never even heard of this.
I love when I
I didn't
pull up
think
the
you-
graphic and Steve's shocked. Ooh, I saw
sometimes I
this
can-
one. I know.
Yeah, normally I see it. I can see it down the bottom, but this one just
I
chopped up,
shocked
so,
you. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't think either of you would have heard about this film.
No.
I hadn't.
And so I thought I was actually went
And
into
we
the
have a
cinema
green room.
to watch a different film. Yeah, well, I went into the cinema room to watch a different film, and as I was crossing the carpeted area, I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm going to watch Green Room again.
Is it red?
So, yeah, yeah. So I put this on. Now then, spoiler alert, Deej, this has got Patrick Stewart in it.
Nice.
I know.
Language.
I'm already sold.
Yeah, that's it. And he plays a very, very, very different role to what you have seen him in before. He is, and this is in the trailer, so this is no spoiler. He is a straight up nasty villain in this. This is like a role you've never seen. And apparently, famously, when he read the script for this, which he read in a his country pile over here. He was so perturbed at it that he apparently set his security system, closed all the doors, and went and had a large scotch, and then said, "That's the part I'm playing." So, okay, now very quickly then. So this is a movie about, and it's one of Anton Yelchin's last movies before he passed away. So this is a film about a group of kind of struggling punk rock musicians. They're just kids, really, and they're touring around, and they get offered the chance to go to this gig in a place in the middle of nowhere. And they get in there, and it turns out that the patrons of this particular bar and establishment are neo-Nazis, and they're punk rock, so they do what they do. And after they have finished their set, they witness something that they shouldn't have witnessed. And what happens then is they find themselves barricaded into the green room of the title, whilst these various neo-Nazis decide what they're going to do to them and do with them. And what then follows is a very tense, brutal as all hell assault on the senses, basically, where you've got Patrick Stewart and his crew on the outside, not of the Enterprise, on the outside, and then you've got these kids inside, and it's about what happens. Now, it is full on, it is brutal, there's no messing around with this. And it's interesting because there's a lot of dialogue in it where you don't always hear it first time, and you're not really supposed to. It's supposed to be very real, in inverted commas. And I really recommend it. It's lean and mean. Again, it's only 96, 97 minutes. It's a little bit of a throwback, I think, to some of the movies from the sort of 80s and 90s. So it's not, doesn't overstay its welcome, but it's really well worth seeing, and you will not take your eyes off the screen for the whole time that it's on. So I really recommend this, fellas. You'll be able to get this cheap, I'm sure. It's only on Blu-ray. I don't think. Good man. You'll enjoy it. I think you will.
Amazon has it for $7.67 for those that want to pick it up.
Then go for it, guys, because it's really good for that.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. We really must get that affiliate link done.
It's not just the listeners that
No, I know.
Cost money.
I'm kidding. Yeah, it's just fun that we get to cost people money and make money for other people.
But it costs me money too. So
that is true. We're doing it to ourselves. So yeah, no, I recommend this guy. This is again, it's a properly well-made film, and well worth seeing. And if you're in the mood for it, I think it's one that you could watch with the other half as well. Although prepare them for the fact there is violence in it. Is it on Clydescape, Deej?
Yeah.
Oh, good
4K,
man. How much is it?
Dolby Atmos.
oh wow,
The whole
Really?
nine.
Oh, okay. Now that's interesting. Yeah, we'll be curious to see what you
So
make
I
of
bought
that
it.
because this is only 5.1. Yeah, it's only on Blu-ray and 5.1 over here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what that does. But yeah, I think you'll get a kick out of it. I see Travis in the chat saying again it's A24, so it's worth a watch. Yeah, it's a really well worth seeing film, and again I'll be curious to see what you both make of this. Yeah, it's good, very good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I'll have it tomorrow. So,
DJ's got
DJ's
it now.
got it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's already watching it.
Yeah. Green room. Yeah. Hour
Yeah,
35.
4K
There you go.
HDR.
Audio tracks.
Interesting.
Atmos. 4K HDR with Atmos.
Yeah, Amazon only had Blu-ray, so
Yeah, I don't know how the 4K will look because it's very grainy, as you can see from the picture of the thing. It's a grungy
Yeah.
movie. It's meant to be down and dirty, but the
Yeah,
audio could be something very special.
Yeah.
So,
But what's fun, sometimes those movies that are meant to be down and dirty, like that grainy, like I've been talking about with Oppenheimer, I talked about with Travis, and it's like sometimes that can enhance it. A lot of times it does, because if it's shot right and it's the effect they're going for, that can enhance that stuff. So
yeah.
sounds awesome.
So video is grungy. It is grainy, but it's meant to be. It's supposed to be a throwback, as I say. But the audio is good. I mean, there are lots of some of these people have got dogs, and they've got there are gunshots, although there's not lots of gunplay in it. The music and stuff and all there'll be bass heavy, and it is good. So the Blu-ray's very acceptable for the sort of movie that it is. But yeah, I'll be curious to know what the 4K one is like, and that might mean maybe we get a 4K disc someday, which would be good. And
Yeah.
I'd pick that up pretty quickly. So yeah, all right. Well, you know, a lot of love for it in the chat. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, guys, pick it up, give it a go.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, it's I didn't know that A24 as well. So yeah, they've been nailing it lately. Their discs are good. They're, you know, great audio, great picture.
On behalf of DJ and myself, I think we should make clear, whatever else you do, people in the chat, listening or watching, never put pictures of Patrick Stewart up on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we both ended up getting blocked and banned or
we
whatever
did.
on that one. That was fun. That was a
I
lot of
blocked
fun.
as well.
Joe, my IT guy, he loves me suffering through his last name, so Hotzel. I don't know, I guess. It says the Academy doesn't recognize your awards! Exclamation point. He's like, boycott those other award shows. Well, I will, but that just means there's 3 viewers of our awards, us. So, thanks, Joe, and we'll be talking soon. We're scheduling a time to get my computer right. Why didn't that come down? Why didn't we go away? Oh, that's why. Boom. There we go. All right. Little behind the scenes stuff going on here. Trying to talk to people. Trying to run the show. All right. Were you done with Green Room?
Yeah. Just a quickie. Yep.
All right. Well, let me give an update on the Bright Side home theater that's being built. So Steve actually asked this before, and whoops, I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm trying to share here. So Brightside Home Theater is coming along. I see this
Air conditioning.
Yeah, it's not as tall, but you know, a couple of steps later, and we have a home for I believe her name is Martina, because we're living on the name we're on. The road is on Martin. So my daughter wanted to name it Martin, but I'm like, I keep calling her. So I think it should be Martina. Yeah. And then, but we're also thinking instead of Martina, just Marty, because my wife had a friend named Marty that's female. So Marty can be female, or Marta, but Marty. So I think we might go with that, Marty. So
Don't go with Martha. Otherwise, someone will always go, "Why did you say that name?"
Exactly.
So don't use Martha.
It's been
Don't use Martha.
overused. So I had to build a shelter for, even though she wasn't named yet at the time, but I had to build the shelter, and you can see here down on the bottom, I have to put a chain on her too, because she's a worker and she'll just get up and run away on me.
Can I ask, DJ, you haven't dented her at the front, have you? What's the bar at the front? That's you haven't dented it, have you?
No. The bucket's actually in the way of that. So I'll show you. See that? That's just that. That's the design. No, I haven't hit anything. There's nothing to
looked
hit.
like a dent.
Nope. But I did actually dent the bucket a little bit, and I was kind of proud of that. So, but yeah, just like you, somebody noticed it. I don't know if it was my son or if it was my son-in-law noticed the dent or something, but we were talking about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, while we're doing the work on here, I'm going to, bang this one up, but then I'm going to put teeth in it, because you can drill in the teeth for digging. But then I'll get the new bucket for like snow plowing, and I'll keep that one nice. The bucket, Steve. So I am just like you. And it's like, I got to keep it. And I got touch up for it and everything. So keeping it nice.
Man,
but put the shelter up for it. And we also, see, there she is. And I close the gate, tuck her in at night. But we also have water on the property.
Well,
so the home theater has water. And poured out the first glass, drank the first glass, and there is the first glass. John, see that glass?
I see it.
Yeah. And when I
next
pulled that
shot is
glass
you
out of the
and,
cabinet, I realized I didn't ship you one.
Yep, I never got one. Still.
And the next shot is DJ in the ER.
No. I drank the bottle full. My son tried it. My wife tried it. And they're like, it's not as good as what we have here, just because, it's a brand new well, so you still get a little bit. But I was like, I'll drink this all day long. And it's clear and clean.
Do you have to have it analyzed each before you can drink it or siphon from it? It's got to be checked, is it?
Well, that literally when it was the day the reason it was running is for they have to run the well for 4 hours, then you test it because that flushes it out.
Okay.
And this was towards the end of it, and then when they were done, it's pretty much done. I'd have to put a generator on it to get it to do this again. So I grabbed. Okay. I just wanted to get the water, but yeah, it's out for testing right now, and then. But I don't smell any sulfur in it. I don't smell. I've seen wells where you're like, oh boy, gonna need some filters. So I'm very encouraged by this so far. Knock on wood. But yeah, that was an event. Let's just say it's like I paid for I won't get into numbers, but I paid for the irrigation package. So they drill deeper. They drilled to 400 feet. And you're supposed to get, just for your permits, you're supposed to get 5 gallons a minute. We were at 2 gallons a minute. Oh. And I'm like, and it's $2,500 to frack, but I'm only at 2 gallons a minute. And they're like, we got to go another 500 because the package you're in, the well will go down, the pump will go down that deep. So we went to 500, still at 2 gallons a minute. And I was like, but because we're at 500 feet, they're like, let's go to 520. And at this point, it's $20 a foot every time, everything past 400. And they're like, go to 20. We'll put the pump at 500. That will pass you because you don't need 5 gallons a minute when you're down that deep because you'll have 700 gallons of water over inside the well. You'll never run dry on that. And I'm like, all right. So I was encouraged by that because you're not going to use 700 in a day. And at 2 gallons a minute, it would take a day to fill that up if it all just disappeared. But it doesn't work like that.
You know what you need.
No. Listen to this. So the next morning, I gave them the okay, go to 520. They go to 520. They hit a vein, 8 gallons a minute. And I have 700 gallons in a reservoir and 8 gallons a minute. I'm like, I got the water up the wazoo. It's like, I got plenty of water. So very
Normally you
encouraged.
pay extra for things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did. I got the bill today and I'm like, what the hell is mudding? I got charged for mudding. I'm like, what is it? These are things that weren't like, they're disclosed in your contract and you're like, what the hell is this? Okay, whatever. But yeah, so very exciting.
How deep did they go though, DJ? I'm a little bit worried that there's some chap in China who's like, well, I'm flipping bath.
Okay, you've been hanging out with my
anymore.
parents. You like my parents made that joke. Like, yeah, nope.
There's a lake draining in China somewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Follow the well.
sure there
There's a
was water
drought on
here.
the other side of the earth.
not climate warming.
Hey,
or
Bright
climate
Side
change.
Home Theater has all the water it needs. There you go. So that's all that matters, right?
You
right.
made the mistake of not getting Bruce Willis in first because he knows how to drill.
Oh my God. I was
Armageddon's
hanging out
taught us
with the
anything.
drill guys and we're talking stuff. And I swear to God, that was one of them. I almost watched Armageddon this week because of that. Because they're drilling, they're like, brr, and they're putting the bits in. And oh man, so funny. 20-foot bits. But yeah, but I did. Armageddon was going through my head while I was standing there listening and watching. All right. Who's up next? John, right?
Yeah, we got
last
one
one?
more. Yeah,
Dude,
we'll do this
yeah,
quick
looking
'cause
forward to
we're
this.
running very late.
Yeah. And we're going to have some fun. So here we go. And we'll have fun with the last one too.
Yeah, so Snatch. This was 4K Blu-ray disc, Dolby Atmos. One of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite movies. I love this movie. Have not seen it in a long time. Have owned the 4K disc for a year and a half, almost 2 years, and never watched it. I don't know why it popped into my head. I watched this right after the show last week. For some reason, I got up from the table, went and had dinner, and this movie popped in my head, and I pulled it out and watched it. For a 4K disc, this thing is excellent. I think the Dolby Atmos track on this is fantastic. The video quality on this is great. And yeah, this is one of the funnest movies that you'll ever see. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It's Guy Ritchie, for those that don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Pitt, Benicio del Toro, Jason Statham, Lenny James, you name it. There's a million people in this movie. And I can't imagine a lot of people haven't seen it, but if you have not, you should watch this. It's great. So I hope that was quick enough. I don't know.
Well, not quick enough because I saw it too.
Yeah.
After seeing you in the notes, I was like, oh my God. And I've had this on my collide. I'm like, oh my God. And it is.
It's so good.
It's so good. And it's, you know, what's funny is it's so many movies all together, right? It's Ocean's 11, but it's also, and we talked about this one a couple of weeks ago. And I think Steve, you said you hadn't seen it, not Snatch, but Get Shorty. It's like that too. And some of the same people are in it too. And it's, but it's so good. And I got a couple of screenshots here. It's like this one here. Did you get this, John? The words as they come in to tell you, and it's not subtitles if you listen into the audio only, but the words will come in and tell you like time frame. But this one here came from the right rear of the room and goes whoosh, right to the middle of the room. It's really cool, right? Yeah. But then there are words later that come from both sides at the same time. And they go, whoosh, and then they meet in the middle. And then I think on that one, didn't they have like a split screen shot and you heard the people talking on each side? That was really cool. Really, really. I mean, they really worked it up on this movie. And I got minutes and stuff, but like
I say right from the opening. Well, I say even right from the opening scene, the robbery at the jewelry store or whatever it is, jewelry exchange. I mean, the atmosphere, that thing just hits. I mean, you know, it's gunshots, it's glass breaking, it's pandemonium all over the place.
I think, I just opened up my notes. One of the best audio experiences from a drama that you will ever hear. Absolutely. I think, hands down. What do you think, John?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's fantastic.
I
hadn't seen this in a long time. Last time was probably the Blu-ray, which I'm sure was very good. I don't think I saw this. Actually, I'm positive I did not see this in the theater. So it has to be the best it's ever been for me. And again, for a movie I've seen a number of times and really enjoy. I was thoroughly engrossed and entertained with this disc. So
So let me go. They're quick. Knockout at $21.20, 3 boxes of popcorn. I mean, it's just fantastic. Bass, everything, awesome. Elevator Ricochet at $38.30, 2 boxes of popcorn. 1 hour, 13 minutes. If you're watching on YouTube, this is the image that's on YouTube right now. 1 hour, 13 minutes, 40 seconds. The guy on the right wants to look like he has a gun. And did you pick up on this, John? And he goes, just very subtly, he just takes his hand and he slides it inside his coat. Yeah. So it looks like he's got a gun. But he's the only one of the 3 that doesn't have a gun, but he wanted to look threatening. Watch that. It's just so fun. It's not an audio video. It's just acting. And it's like he's sitting there and he realizes he's not imposing enough. So he opens his coat and slides his hand in there, but there is no gun. It's the funniest thing.
Which he's the most imposing of the 3 of them just by being there.
Right. But he has no gun, and to see him do that, it's just so. And that's what this movie is like too. The one-liners again. It's just a great movie, great ending. If you haven't seen it, the way it all wraps up, just like any of these other movies, you'll know what I mean when you see it. 1 hour, 28 minutes, 50 seconds. Crowd and music, 2 boxes of popcorn. 1 hour, 31 minutes, 50 seconds. Statham's voice in the rear channel telling Pitt to knock him out. Great bait. And it's like, so he's talking to him in a ring corner, and it's like in the corner of the room talking over his shoulder. Just awesome stuff. There's a scene where Brad Pitt goes underwater. You'll understand when you see it, but great really bass. Good. That was really good. I mean, it's just an amazing. I was shocked. I mean, like John, this is one of those, like, you can't not watch it. You'll get Shawshanked if it comes on, and you have to know the movie. So like when I saw that John had seen it, I'm like, oh my God. So I threw it on, and you just go all the way through. It had so much fun. But I was super impressed with the Atmos, and the picture was really good too. But the Atmos is just amazing. absolutely amazing.
It's a great disc.
Yeah,
Great disc.
absolutely. So, all
Another
right.
Sony one, another Sony disc, I do believe.
Is it? It might
I'm
be.
not sure.
Distributed by them here, I think. I think it is. I might be wrong, but I thought it was. But yeah,
I'd have
it's
to go
great.
pull it out and look at it, but
Yeah. All right. And we have what? Let's see. Oh, what do we got? Here we go. Well, over there, it is
go.
called
So, yes.
No Way Out, which
Yes.
is not the Kevin Costner movie.
No, it's not that. So this is No Way Out on German 4K disc in Dolby Atmos. In the US, it's called Only the Brave. And I don't think, I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but I don't think it's available in 4K over there yet. I think it is on Kaleidoscape. I imagine that it is. But it's not. But it's not on 4K
think
disc.
it
I
is.
don't think. Yeah, there we go. Is it in 4? Yeah, the HDR. I can see that. Yeah, good. Okay, so this is the movie I've been trying to tell you guys to see for months.
yeah.
And is a Jonathan Liebsman film. This was the warm-up for Top Gun Maverick. And it's got a number of the same people in it. Jennifer Connelly's in it. You've got Miles Teller in it. And a number of people that then went on to work with him again in Maverick. And it's the true story about the Granite Ridge Hotshots, which were and are or were a group of firefighters, brush firefighters. And it is the true story of what happened to this particular group of them. I dug it out to watch again. One, because then it gives me the chance to remind you two to watch it. And two, because obviously there's been a lot of talk recently about the wildfires all over the world, but also in Hawaii and everything else. And it's a absolutely fantastic film. This is the second time that I've watched it. It was shot, I am reliably informed, entirely in IMAX, which again
Yes.
is another reason why this was a warm-up for Maverick. And it's a very moving story. And anyone, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a moving story. It's a difficult story to watch.
It's a true
in the
story.
way that it's supposed to be. Yeah, quite. And it does genuinely pull at the heartstrings at times. It's a really well told film and told story, and it's never less than interesting from start to finish. And as I said, I'm not ashamed to say, second time I saw it, I rolled a tear at the end of there's one particular shot, which I won't spoil, but at the very end, one little shot that just cuts right through me.
Just
and
one?
One particular one that just really does do it. So it's a really good film. And if you haven't seen it, must see it, make a beeline for it. Now, the 4K image quality is fantastic. And just beautifully shot. I mean, if you didn't know it was on IMAX, you'd suspect it was on IMAX. It doesn't ratio shift though.
No.
I don't know if the Kaleidoscape version does. Mine doesn't.
No.
It's one ratio.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. It's digitally shot. The landscapes just look gorgeous. I mean, the landscapes that are meant to look gorgeous. The ones that are meant to look desolate. The ones that are meant to look threatening look very threatening. And it really does give you a perfect sense of just how difficult this job must be for these poor souls. Really, really difficult. And then you get the Atmos mix as well, which is superb. It starts off. We can spoil the opening. It starts off with a tracking shot, as a push-in shot across a wood that is on fire, a forest that's on fire, and out of that comes a bear, not the cocaine bear, as far as we know.
No,
but out of it comes a bear that is on fire. And you can hear all
not
of
like
the
not a
flames.
real bear. Think of like a fiery phoenix, only a bear.
Well,
it's an imaginary. That theme plays through the movie. It's not like this real bear comes running out of the woods on fire.
Well, no,
I didn't want people to get that
in the
image.
making of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes coming out, and it is, and you hear all the flames all around. You get bass. You can hear the kind of breath on this imaginary creature.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely, what a way to start the movie, and you are hooked from second one. It is absolutely fantastic. And there are shots with helicopters coming over the top. You've got planes coming in. You've got all this stuff as well. I mean, it's really, really cleverly done. Now, this film apparently was a bomb at the box office. Now, I don't know why. I can only assume it's just one of those movies they marketed wrong. People didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And it came, and in the blink of an eye, and it went. And it's a shame because it's a movie that we, as people that are into this kind of stuff as a home theater experience, should champion it. But it's also a story that needs to be told, and people should know what happened there and what they went through. And you know, it's really, really good. And yeah, it needs to be seen. So I loved it. I think it's a really good film, and I'm glad now you've seen it, Deej.
Yeah.
So tell me what you thought. What did you make of it?
I thought it was amazing. I thought, especially right from jump, where you get that opening scene with the bass and the growl, and you know that they did it the same thing in Backdraft, where they gave the fire that animalistic growl to it, that you know, and it was just throughout the movie you had that. The story itself is a story. I mean, I'm not going to spoil the story, but it's more than just about the fire. It's about the firefighters, why they do this, why they pick these careers, like what kind of person would do this. And then you find out, and you can relate, and you feel sorry for them on a whole other level. It's just an amazing story. Like you said, it's like, you know, I could see why it kind of flopped. It's like a few people went and saw it and were like, that is not what you're thinking. Don't go see that. It is, because it's a tough watch. But as a home theater experience, it's an amazing watch. It is a story that should be told more and more. You know, when we can talk spoilers, I mean, I'm sure there's they even say it in the movie, they learned from this. And there's tech now that can help in these situations. But it's awesome home theater experience. Absolutely awesome. If you can get the 4K Atmos disc, track that down. Then I highly recommend that. If you happen to be one of the people that has a Kaleidoscape, grab it, get it. I've had it on mine for quite a while. Steve, you noticed it a while ago, and you're like, "You got that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't seen it yet." And when you said you were seeing it again, I got up early this morning to watch it. I'm like, "Well, I gotta," you know. So I watched it this morning, and it is tough, but definitely worth it as a home theater experience. It's you know. It's a little bit better than Evil Dead Rise.
Well, is it though? No.
Come on, Steve. Even you would say that.
Well, I really loved Evil Dead Rise. What I would say to people, though, again, because we talked about how tough the story is, once you finish watching it, again, I would recommend reading around the subject matter, because there's again, on IMDb and stuff, there's trivia on there about it, but and kind of what really happened, and this is very close to it, very respectfully done. But there is more that you don't realize that is not clear from the film, because they just couldn't. They just couldn't.
Yeah.
And it's worth reading, because again, it gives you a sense of just what these people go through and what they went through, and we all owe it to the people that do this stuff over here, over there, all around the world. To understand as best we can and respect kind of the work that these people do. I mean, we're so lucky that there are people that will do this. Because you know, I couldn't. You know, all I do is argue all day. Which is kind of what I do when I come on here. But
that's all you do all the time. That's your life.
Well, that's it. I get paid for it. It's great. I mean, you know,
really,
I say it, at the end of a day's work here, all I do is wash off ink. And even though I don't do that anymore because it's all digital, but that's what I used to say to my sister. I used to think it was funny. But you know, these guys, you know, are doing stuff for real, and we're all, you know, lucky that they do. But there we go. Right, I'll stop being too serious now.
Yeah. So I know, Steve, you've got to go. We are running
for probably 15 minutes or so. If you want to, go further, or we can. If you want to wrap it up there, we can do that.
Because if we go, here's the thing: is if we start, we've got a bunch of listener comments to get to. We got 4K releases, but we'll just. I mean, I think that we had a great show. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that we had so much fun, and I mean, I even forgot we haven't done 4K experiences yet, 4K releases yet. And I know we have listener comments. People like VJ even said, I'm not ignoring people. I'm super busy. I'm noting everything. And when we get a show that maybe we haven't seen as much, we'll get to some comments. VJ had one where he has a great question for us. And it's a great email. We'll read it when we can, but I want to give it the proper amount of time. So, but yeah, I don't want to rush through any of that stuff. So we'll save that stuff for later, but I hope everybody's understanding. It's like we're here about the experiences and that's what we're doing. So, but you know, Steve, it's what, after midnight over there.
Quarter past midnight here.
Let's get Steve to bed. Okay. We're going to tuck him in like I tucked in Marty.
Let's get John.
What she said.
So.
Yeah. So, that's what she said. Oh, yeah. I'm like, do I have to grab that line now? All right. We'll wrap it up from here. Thank you, everybody in the chat. John, Jordan, Travis, Steve, VJ in there, Travis, Joe. Let me see who else we got. We keep on going. Eric. Oh. Yep, that's right. Eric. There we go. Eric. VJ, John, a bunch of here. And then Mikey's in there. Paul's in there. Bunch
Jordan,
of them. Aberguy. Yep, There we go. Jordan. Yep. All right.
Steven.
Yeah, I'm trying to. We'll get out of here. This isn't Romper Room. I don't know if everybody gets that reference. But yeah, thank you everybody for participating. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Like I said, mugs, hats, email me, and we'll get on that. Patreon. You can do that. Buy us boxes of popcorn. You'll get moved to the front of the show at least. Kind of got to stick to that. So, but yeah, thank you everybody. Stevie's got to go to bed. Johnny and I got to eat. I'm going to call everybody with a Y at the end because I play hockey. So everybody knows what they got to do.
Go push play.
What he said.
We're out.